things related to our topic. I think you've
Okay.
been having this sort of nightmare that is called Ielts, and you've been
Yes.
trying to get this test as soon as possible.
Yes.
And I really think that this is a good opportunity to you to get this test as soon as possible. Once you have the chance to do that, and be able to uh, give it a good try this time, because we've been talking a lot about this test, and trying to cover as many themes and as many um, aspects of the test as possible. So let's talk a little bit about this test. Like, what are your preparations to this test so far?
Yes. Okay.
Do you hear me?
Hello? Yes. Okay.
I asked, what are your preparations for this test particularly?
Actually, I do practice a lot so as to be prepared for the actual test,
Mm-hmm.
uh, especially with listening, because there is a timetable for it and also reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my dilemma is with writing because I'm not familiar with the academic writing, especially in a lot of topics that's not related to my specialty. And also speaking need a lot of practice because there are also a lot of topics that are not related to my specialty.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I think I have to focus only on writing and speaking. I think we've covered all the important things that related to reading and listening.
Well, I really think that there is really steady progress
Mm,
over the past few months with your speaking and with your writing. And I
mm,
don't think you should ever, never, never, ever underestimate the skills of writing that you do have.
okay.
Well, what's missing is probably lack of consistent amount of practice for
Mm,
this particular type of
mm,
activities. And we've already talked about that writing is a more of a process
mm,
than a product.
okay.
So uh, when we talk about the art of writing, we're talking about somebody who's trying to carve a statue out of
Mm,
rock,
okay.
and it's a piece of rock thrown in the desert. You bring your hammer, or you bring um, your nail, and start carving little by little to get to the final shape. And in order to get to that part, you need
Mm,
to exert lots of effort. You need to
yes, of course.
suffer. You need
Yes.
to go through many hurdles. And
Okay.
respectively, this process is going to reshape your style of writing. And
Mm,
writing is very interlinked to
mm,
reading. So if we do
yes.
not have a good consistent amount of
Yes.
reading on a daily basis and
Yes.
monthly basis,
Mm,
like on average, the person who's planning to take the IELTS should read at least one to five books about different topics
mm,
before he goes to take the test. Why?
mm,
Because reading reshapes the person's perception of the written language. The kind of writing we come across in books is drastically
mm,
different from that one we see and hear people talk about. So
yes.
when you go when you hear people talking, they are interchanging information using shortened versions,
Mm,
truncated version of writing.
mm,
But if we convert that into writing, that's not going to make the same sense, because it's a combination of body gestures, eye
yes.
contact,
Yes.
intonation, stress
Mm,
here and there, and sometimes what is said is not directly meaning what is intended.
Mm.
But in writing, we need to translate everything we say into written version. And in order to get to that satisfactory level, you need to exert some effort.
Okay.
But that's the news. The good
Yeah.
news, IELTS follows a specific standard formula that
Mm.
is not quite challenging. It's only 300 maximum words for task number 2 and 120 for task number 1, which is describing a graph
Mm.
or a scheme of some sort. But generally speaking, this does not mean that we should go to IELTS without preparation.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you've been struggling with particularly writing.
Yes.
In your own way, in your own words,
Yes.
where do you think the struggle keep coming from?
Yes. At first, as you said, that I have uh, to be more specific with my introduction and surprise the reader. So my introduction must be strong, and I have to rephrase the question of the examiner,
Mhm.
and I have to connect my paragraphs, the main body, and also to be objective with my writing.
Mhm.
I think I need a lot of time to build such an essay for within the time limit. So
Um,
that's my problem.
I think that the problem with IELTS, it's not a problem. Like when I say a problem, it means
Hmm.
it gives negative impression to people.
Yes.
So it's
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
um,
The issue.
and
Yeah.
that should not be said. I think you need to be treated with the placebo style of medicine here.
Yes.
You heard about it, right?
Yes. Of course.
Okay, perfect. So, when I'm talking about IELTS writing, I'm talking about something that can be consistently following a formula, and the
Mm.
formula is very straightforward.
Mm.
Like for example, let's because I do believe that it's not a matter of time as much as it is a matter of consistent amount of practice.
Mm. Okay.
So the point is more of
Practice.
something that is relevant to practice
Yes.
than something that is kind of relevant to another perspective.
Mm.
Anyways, um, I'm talking about certain kind of formula that is
Mm.
out there that is straightforward, like this one
Mm.
here. I'm sending it to you. Let me
Okay.
uh, let me just forward it directly here. Now, this is a sample that was written for task 2. I want you to download. What do you notice about this formula? It's very, very simple. The question is, do you
Mm.
agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh the disadvantages? By the way, there was one mistake out there, which is outweigh was repeated twice.
Mm.
I've highlighted few things,
Yes.
few key things in this essay. I want you to look at the green font
Okay.
uh, and tell me what they are and how are they related to the concept of task completion. How do they
Mm.
contribute to task completion, cohesion and coherence,
Mm.
grammatical range, and lexical diversity?
Okay. The
These
green
are,
or
the
the
green one.
green? Yes.
The
Okay.
green ones. But
Mm.
since you do not remember the 4 categories that I already mentioned here, by which you are going to be assessed
Mm.
by IELTS examiner,
Mm.
I want you to generally, based on your experience, tell me what these things are.
Mm. Uh, on one hand, here I'm giving uh, my my opinion
Mhm.
for the first when it said I strongly believe. So he's comparing. The first reason, so for task completion, I think he give his answer if he agree or disagree.
Okay, so
Uh,
that is technically called statement. So he's
yes, yes, yes,
presenting his
yes,
statement
yes.
to the examiner.
Mm, mm.
I think when it comes to writing, there's something quite interesting, which is um, you're just showing off تتباهى by the academic style that you have.
Yes.
And in order to do so, you
Mm,
throw as many academic formal words that are
of
not
course,
familiar
of
and
course.
used commonly in
Mm,
English, and
mm.
that's
Yes.
that is what creates the positive impression. And our 60 to 70% of investment is on the first paragraph, because
Of course.
essays are evaluated by human beings,
Mm,
and we are human. We
mm,
get first impression from the
mm,
first
mm.
time we meet
Yes.
people or read.
Mm,
Like, have you been in this situation where you read the first um, page of certain book you
yes,
come
yes,
across,
yes,
you get
yes.
either positive
They
or
impress
negative
you,
impression about it?
so they give you the incentive to complete the book. Yes. Sometimes the
I
first
love the
pages.
word incentive that you
Mm,
mentioned.
mm,
This is going to catapult your essay to
mm,
sky if you write it down there when you're practicing in the 40 minutes. I think
mm,
it's a matter of time constraint.
mm,
The 40 minutes feels like a marathon, uh,
yeah.
but once you understand
Mm,
the question clearly and what the examiner wants, you would
yeah.
definitely be able to
Mm,
break it down into the four major categories, which are task completion, cohesion and coherence,
mm,
grammatical range, lexical diversity, and focus on
mm,
these, but focus on them from the lens of a person who's trying to impress people by his artistic writing,
mm,
his control of grammar and tenses, and keep in mind that you should not repeat things again and again.
of course.
Um, and always read the question 3 or 4 times
Mm,
and try in 2 to 3 minutes respond as if you are talking.
mm,
So, like for example, I read this. Now, lots of people just jump and start writing without putting it on a structure.
mm.
Um, you remember the video link that I sent you? Me discussing the structure of IELTS writing and what you should write and what you
Yes,
should
yes,
do.
yes.
The last one, the latest.
Mm, yes.
Now, one of the major things that we oversee as Arab learners of English
Yes.
is that we directly dive into writing process without
Mm,
even thinking about what we are going to write. Um, Native speakers, on the other hand, structure a model and
mm,
fill this model with the kind of content that comes spilled out of their mind. And that is
mm,
where the difference is,
mm,
that lots of times native speakers excel not because they have outsmarted other people or non-native speakers. No, they just have a vision. They
mm.
create a structure or framework and work
Yes.
according to
Build.
that framework.
Yes, yes. I
When
built
we
an
look at
essay
this,
according to that.
perfect. So when
Mm,
you look at this framework here in this
mm,
essay, we see on the on the one hand, well, first of all, he says, I strongly believe
mm,
that the advantages of the car can outweigh its disadvantages. He made a
mm,
mistake here. He didn't say disadvantages. In the yellow, the first paragraph. And
yes.
put on
But
the one
here,
hand.
but here,
Secondly,
we cannot
and then
say that the same phrase.
هو ارتكب خطأ. هو كاتب
Mm,
advantages, المفروض يكتب disadvantages.
mm. But also you have to rephrase the question.
He did that
Mm,
when he says, "Do you agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh the disadvantages?" What he said
mm,
using cars has been becoming increasingly common in recent years, although I think that it maintains some obvious harmful consequences. So بدل ما يقول advantages disadvantages كاتب obvious
consequence.
harmful consequences عكس. I strongly believe that the advantages اللي هي هنا اللي بالبداية ومجرد إعادة صياغة. بس احنا نتحدث عن structure، نتحدث عن on hand بعدين secondly on the other hand many reasons وكاتب لك many reasons firstly secondly كاتب لك therefore for instance and finally بالأخير كاتب لك in conclusion. The point that I want to convey to you here, just follow this sample. And by the way, you do not have to reach 300 words limit. You can write 260, 270 words, and that is going to be very satisfactory to the evaluator. Since it just satisfied all the conditions of getting you 8 or 8.5. I don't think that your writing style gets 6 or 6.5. I think your level is, significantly better than the 6.5 probably that other people get in this sort of tests. Anyways, that's my idea. I don't know what IELTS examiners are going to think, especially if there's only one person attending the IELTS test. What did you learn, by the way? What did you learn from that kind of experience here, traveling to Dubai to take the test and going through this difficulties of COVID and challenges of getting to the test?
When all the other students failed to come, I felt that I'm strong. On the listening, I took control of everything, but on reading, I get through some hurdles, but finally I managed to overcome them. On writing, I felt very calm because I built a framework for my answer, but I don't know why they gave me. I made some mistakes with spelling, but I tried to impress the examiner. I said I wrote pervasive and a lot of unfamiliar vocabularies, but I don't know why I took 6.5.
Well, maybe he was sad because only one person attended that sort of test that wanted to retaliate by dropping your score down. I don't know, like human behavior is really unpredictable, and lots of things backfire, ricochet, things that are planned. We always say, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Of course.
And this is where we're trying to, come up with a sort of model on which just follow, because it's always good to go to take such a test and have a model in mind. I was reading in one of the books. I can send it to you to have a look at it. It's not a perfect book. And it talks about task 2. I'm uploading the book to you here to just have a look at it, but you are not obligated to read it. There's no obligation. I'm just giving you this book. Just I'm taking some samples from this book where they talk about what they wrote, what readers and writers wrote in that test. They provide model examples, and I'm using that to give it to you. So this sample is from another book, but I think always it's a good idea to go with a simple model. when imagine you have two products. One has been working 100% or 99% perfect over the 10 years, and a new model that just came this year, and it shows really high, significant, better results, but it has not been used and adopted by medical agencies. Which one do you go for?
Sorry?
I said if you are offered two models, one is very simple and has worked over the past 10 years. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
And the other model is something that just came out this year and it has not been adopted by medical agencies, but it showed better value and better results. Which one do you choose? The one that has worked for the past 10 years on patients, or the one that has been already tried and released by the laboratories?
No, I will choose the first one because it have been used for a lot of years and it's simple also.
Okay, so that's because of reliability factor
Yes,
and
of course.
practicality factors.
Yes.
So it's reliable because it showed high value reliability over the past years, and it just
And there are a lot of studies
satisfaction.
about this. There were a lot of studies and about it. So I
Tell me
have
about
to
it.
choose it.
Tell me about it. I would like to hear your insights about that part.
Yes, because when you try to choose something, you have uh, to read a lot of articles about it to make
Hmm.
the right decision. So if it's new without any uh, supporting studies, it will be difficult to choose such type of things.
Hmm.
Mm.
It's well, we say it's not generalizable
Mm.
because it hasn't gotten or got
Mm.
high customer satisfaction level,
Mm.
and that may not reflect good customer satisfaction eventually if you apply and it does not work.
Mm.
Anyways, so the model that I'm presenting to you here is
Yes.
very simple. Let's say
Yes.
it's very simple. It's not challenging.
Mm.
And the reason I chose it, it's just because it gives us an impression that this is not something impossible. It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
straightforward. It's
Mm.
very easy.
Mm.
So tonight,
Mm.
what I'm thinking about is try this strategy where you answer my question. Like
Yes.
this is a question. Let's imagine that this is a speaking question, not
Okay.
written question.
Okay.
And when I imagine that I ask you, and this is what you need to do in the test. You have around
Mm.
5 minutes of preparation in
Mm.
the beginning. What you need to do is simply imagine that you're speaking about this to somebody. So you say, "Well, do you agree that the advantages cars bring outweigh the disadvantage?" You need to rephrase it.
Mm.
It has been agreed
Mm.
in society that there are certain
Mm.
weak points and strong points
Mm.
um, to the use of cars
Mm.
in transportation. Firstly, or in the beginning, and
Mm.
then secondly, and
Mm.
in addition to that, there are other reasons or there are other proponents who say something against that, and then later on the one hand, on the other hand, and in conclusion, this
Mm.
will pre- prep your mind subconsciously to be ready to structure this thought written wise.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if it works with you. It works with me.
Mm. Okay.
It really works with me, and I really adopt this kind of strategy or
Mm.
stratagem when I take the tests.
Mm. Okay.
So let me ask you the question again, and let's
Okay.
elaborate a little bit about it. Like,
Okay.
do you agree that people should use many cars? I'm rephrasing the question. Do you
Mm.
think it's a good idea that everybody drives a car in Baghdad? What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages now?
Mm. Yeah. Yes. Nowadays there are a lot of cars in Baghdad and become more pervasive. But this increased number has created a lot of problems, especially with the traffic congestion. But on the other hand, it can help people to go to their work and to do a lot of tasks throughout the day without a lot of effort. First of all, it can be advantageous to people to use car and it can help them to do a lot of duties. Um, Also, secondly, it can make life easy for people to get contact with their relatives and for transportation. On the other hand, it may create a lot of crowding and traffic jams in the city, especially when there are a lot of population, and it also can create obesity in the community because we are do not do any practice and we are only relying on cars.
Okay, I love what you already said so far, and I really
Mm,
think it's a good value,
mm,
speaking wise, when
yes.
it comes to convert that into writing. Now, when we
Mm,
talked about that, we just wanted to create a structure. So,
yes.
in the first
Mm,
introduction, you just gave
mm,
me a good statement,
mm,
and after that, you started talking about obesity, which
mm,
can be it can be a paragraph
yes.
in and out of itself, and you can talk about traffic
Mm,
as a potential
mm,
side effect to
yes.
using many cars. But
Mm,
on the on the advantage side, you
yes.
can mention that people started using more cars due to COVID-19 in order
Yeah.
not to
Okay.
contract the
Yes.
virus, and that
Yes.
something can be on the positive scale,
Yes.
not
Yes.
on the
Of course.
negative scale.
Yes. Of
Um,
course.
and you can write a little bit about it, either
Mm,
one or two sentences,
mm,
and you sum up that kind of uh, chat or that kind
mm,
of talk
mm.
by elaborating more on the speakers in general. Just jump and start writing. And
Yeah.
this is the biggest mistake. What we
Yeah.
need to do is to do
Mm,
a little bit of preparation out there.
mm,
Um, and that is what I've been taught by my American and British teachers
yes.
abroad. And they said, well, you need to create a framework. The framework
Okay.
should have 5 paragraphs.
Mm,
Okay. So
okay.
what I want you to do out there, right? I'll help you. So paragraph 1.
But the question deleted.
Oh, the question is there.
Mm,
It's do
okay.
you? It
Okay.
doesn't
Okay.
matter. I mean, we're talking about this question or any other question.
Any other one?
Think of
Okay.
a
Okay.
framework. This is just
Yes.
a
Yes.
random question, and I
Yes.
showed you the model. And I do believe that we can create better models
Mm,
if we imitate than
yes.
حكي models اللي
Mm,
حصلت
I know.
H5, for example.
Yes.
So in paragraph 1, what
Mm.
are you going to write?
I will talk about.
Don't don't write it there.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Just write it to me because I want to see that you're, you know, giving it a little bit of effort. Okay, we're not supposed to say in conclusion, but we assume that it's the conclusive
Yes. Yes. Yes.
paragraph.
Our
Not,
conclusion. Yes.
I'm not dictating that you should write in
Mm,
conclusion.
yes.
We have flexibility with the kind of content we put in there. I'm just
Okay.
saying that it should be a
Conclusion.
conclusion.
Yes.
In paragraph
Paragraph 1, introduction.
intro. So let's
Mm.
assume it's the intro here.
Mm.
What do we normally write in the introduction? Let's work here because I want you to imitate the kind of paragraph that we already talked about here.
Yes, yes.
I want
I'm trying to give, yes,
Mhm.
to give an introduction about the his question. Do you agree that the advantage cars bring outweigh the disadvantage? So
Yes,
I'm trying to say that there are an increase of the number of cars in recent years, and that will create two. Uh, uh, there will be an advantage or disadvantage. So I have to give uh, a
like
little introduction about its advantage and a little bit about its disadvantage, and then I have to give my opinion.
theoretically speaking, whatever you already said is theory. We need to put it into practice.
Okay, okay.
So I
Yes,
said you mentioned the increasing
yes,
number
of course.
of cars in recent years. ايش بي
Uh, have become pervasive or
عندي
become
سؤال
mm,
ليش اختارت have been
uh,
مو has been
in cars.
um,
No. I said the increasing number, so I have to say have.
you're talking
Yes.
about word number, so
Mm-mm.
number is
Mm.
singular. Okay,
Yes.
gotta be
Yes.
very careful not to
Yes.
leave
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
because you're going to be marked down in the
Mhm.
grammar
Yes. Yes.
or
Yes.
grammatical range
Yes.
and accuracy
Yes.
here from the first,
Mhm.
and that's going to give us very negative impression, not
Of
very
course.
negative, but not positive impression
Of course. Yes.
about the writing of that person, that he's not
Mm.
familiar with
With the
certain grammatical
yes.
structures.
Yes. Of course.
Mhm.
Mm. Yes.
You understand my point here?
Yes. 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 I have to
Okay.
concentrate. Yes. Uh,
Uh, okay, so the increasing number of cars in recent years.
mm,
Mhm.
has become has been
Mm.
no has become.
You're dealing with a grammar Nazi out
Mm.
there, so you gotta be careful about the kind of
Uh,
words you choose.
uh, yes.
So the increasing number of cars in recent years has become more
Mm.
pervasive.
Yes.
E,
Mm. Mm.
that's it.
Yeah. I this in I can say in many countries.
You can or can you?
Can I?
Mm.
In
Mhm.
many countries, I will give full stop, and then mm, this mm, will create. Mm, mm,
هسه هذه
mm.
this this will create
ايه
هذه this على شنو تدل؟
increasing number.
آه. طبعا هو احنا بنكتب، انا متاكد انه احنا بنستخدم القلم غير ما نستخدم الكيبورد،
ايه
وحتى الترين اوف ثوت، الافكار، الطريقه مالت الاسترسال تكون اسرع ويا القلم. ما اعرف، هذا رايي.
ايه
ممكن اكو ناس اسرع بالكتابه على الكيبورد من الكتابه بالقلم، لانه يعتمد على سرعه الاحرف اللي ينزلها على
mm,
الصفحه.
mm,
اذا قلمك سريع افكارك راح تكون
yeah,
متناسقه، واذا قلمك بطيء ورصاص
ايه
بنسل. هذه كلها عوامل حقيقة،
yeah.
يعني واحد لازم ياخذها بنظر الاعتبار.
Uh, mm, increasing number of cars and cities have become more prevalent in many countries. This increasing number.
مهم.
Mm, mm, mm.
if you say that, you need to think where you're going to position that in the essay. We're not trying to complicate the article. We're just trying to make it straightforward, simple, clear, transparent, obvious. This increase in number may... Now, you remember something, that you mentioned the word number twice. I mean, it's not likely to be a good indicator of lexical diversity. أنا دا أتحدث لك هساني مخليهم على ورقة قدامي. يعني من دا تستخدم كلمة معينة أنا دا أباوع على هذول الكاتيجوريز الأربعة. بس هذا ما يعني أنه أنا لازم أقيدك بالكتابة على أي عنصر لازم أنت تكون حذر من عنده. إحنا يعني عادة بهيك حالات نسترسل بالكتابة. يعني مثلا هساني من دا أتحدث the number of cars have become pervasive. أنا شنو what am I trying to say؟ خلينا نرجع للسؤال. أنت ويا أنه السيارات لها advantages لو لها disadvantages؟
لحد ما منطي my opinion هنا دا أعطي
بالstatement أنت تقول do you agree that the advantages دا يسألك أنت تعتقد أنه محاسن السيارات أكثر من مساوئها؟ إذا yes فلازم تخليه بالstatement بالبداية. فهنا بالبداية لازم تقول apparently with the complicated lifestyle comes complicated transportation. The system of transportation expedited the transfer of goods, commuting of people, and بدل ما كلمة depend fasten لا how كلمة expedited speed it up مثلا speed it up the connection among cities. It is surely clear that the benefits of cars in society outweigh the negative sides. I'm just thinking out loud. أنا مجرد دا أفكر بصوت عالي. ممكن هذا أنا أعيد صياغتها. بس الفكرة أنه أنا إيش دا أقول هنا دا يعني هاي النقطة.
Apparently, with the complicated lifestyle comes complicated transportation. The system of transportation expedited the transfer of goods, commuting of people, and speeded up the connection among cities. It is surely clear that the benefit of cars in society outweigh the negative sides.
أنا حعيد الصياغة مالتها بس أنا دا أشمر كلمات هواية بس دا أخلي تذكر مصطفى من أول ما التقينا قلت لك think of 3 things من تكتب أوكي أنت ستشوفني إيش دا أظلل هذا 1 2 إيش قد 3 نقدر هذولي أصلا ناخذهم وكل وحدة نسوي عليهم فقرة بالبوست paragraph يعني خاصة بيهم. فهي الفكرة أنه أوكي أنا عندي معلومات مجرد أنه أشمرها بهذا الفريم ورك. فساني مثلا هذه system of transferring of goods هذه أجي أتحدث عنها مثلا هنا paragraph number 2 I don't want to spoon feed you, by the way. I
Okay.
just want you to understand that whatever you say in the beginning, شايف هم عندهم أجانب عندهم ستايل كلش حلو. بداية الفيلم يشوفك جزء من نهاية الفيلم بس ما يكمل لك النهاية
صح.
ويرجع للبداية، فهو ده يربط. يعني احنا من نحكي هذا السكريبت ستايل مالتهم انه يشوفك فشي يخليك دائما engaged, thrilled, excited to see the end. يشوفك مثلا جندي على الجبهة وتو يريد ده يرفع عنه تجي مثلا رصاصة بس ما توصله ويقطع اللقطة وبعدين تبدأ أحداث كلش بطيئة وبداية ويسلم على يعني beloved lady وبعدين تشوف. فهذا هو sort of engagement، انه ده يخلق نوع من الانسجام بين نهاية الفيلم وبدايته، وما بينهم هو ارتباطه يعني سواء forward او backward، يعني كليتهم interlinked.
Yes.
هذا هو جاي تصميمه من النص الكتابي. اي يعني الفيلم هو عبارة عن الفيلم هو عبارة عن سكريبت،
صح.
عبارة عن نوفل. النوفل يحولها كاتب مشهور إلى سكريبت اللي هو حوار. هذا الحوار يجي شخص آخر يسويه على شكل قصاصات مال صور. الكل هاي اللقطة راح يسووها فيلم، المخرج يجي ينسقها بالطريقة اللي تعجبه ويبدأ المونتاج. الكتابة هي المصدر الأساسي للإيمج اللي تصير لاحقا. فأنت تقدر أكو إحنا من نتحدث I'm sorry I'm speaking Arabic لأنه هاي فكرة كلش حلوة لازم تنتبه لها، أنه كل فقرة من الفقرات بالمقالة اللي أرسلتك إياها اللي هي بالبداية اللي مظلل بالأخضر كاتب لك بالبداية on the one hand، بعدين كاتب لك secondly، بعدين كاتب لك on the other hand، من كاتب لك many reasons كاتب لك firstly for example for instance and finally. يعني ما مخلي لك من قال لك many reasons ما تركها سائبة، لا حدد لك many reasons انطاك.
Yes.
Okay. وبالأخير كتب لك in conclusion.
Hello.
هسه so far ايش تقترح؟
Okay. Yes.
شنو دا تشوف التحدي الأساسي مالتك لحد هاي النقطة؟
I have to build a strong introduction.
أحكي لك هاي قبل شوية صديقي هو دكتوراه قانون، هو مهتم جدا بالأدب العربي، فقال لي تجاحظ ما كان قبل أكو طرق بحث. طبعا هو أكو رباط بالسالفة، قبل ما كانت أكو طرق بحث. هسه أنت من تريد تكتب الثيسز مالتك دا يقول لك أكو ثيوري وأكو فد فريم ورك معين تمشي عليه. فيقول الجاحظ كان يبدي يحكي مثلا عن يعني الحيوان الفلاني مثلا الأسد، فيربط مثلا من دا يتحدث عن الأسد فيقول أنه من أسماء الأسد هو المغوار، على يعني تسمية على فلان من الناس لأنه مغوار. كلمة مغوار هي أصلها فلان، فيقول يسترسل يتحدث 100 صفحة ويكمل الكتاب هو ما مكمل موضوع الأسد. فالنقطة وين إنه إحنا يعني مالتنا العربي هاي الطريقة مالتنا إنه إحنا دائما ما نكمل النقطة الأساسية، بس هي شنو الفكرة؟ ستايلنا هو العربي هذا جميل بهاي الطريقة. الأجانب لا، يحب يكون اللي ذا شيء لازم يكمله.
يا بصبة تسلم عليك. الو.
I hear you.
ايه مو هسه صارت بدارة الإعلام بوزارة الصحة، بعد ايش راح يخلصنا؟
يلا عيني هسه
واقف خلي اشيل شو اسمه، واقف خلي حتى تسمع.
يقول لازم تسوي لها سبورت.
You should support me, mister.
I want you to define the word support.
يقول لك I wanted to define the word support. يعني support بالبيج؟
لا هو مو بيج
وإنما هو يعني دائرة ما توعية ينزل عليها الفيديو.
دائرة ما توعية من وزارة الصحة وينزلون فيديوهات.
فيديوهات مال شنو؟
توعية للناس.
طبعا انا هسه دا افكر بطريقه دا اريد اضوجها بها بس ما دا اعرف شنو لانه مركز تحتاجون مصور يجوز.
بس كنت اخليها اليوم شك حلقي اعيد واسقل لي ورا.
ليش؟
وقلت لها يا راد لازم نتعلم مونتاج على مود غلطه تخليني نعيد الفيديو كله.
انتوا بعد هاي مرحله جديده بحياتكم لازم تعرفوها يعني لانه
قلت لها لازم نتعلم مونتاج.
مونتاج يعني هذا يعني هو فن بحد ذاته بس هذا يعتمد على هو مو صعب لا هو أنا ما كنت أعرف المونتاج ما كنت أعرف بالبرامج يعني هذا راح ياخذنا عن الموضوع بس حتى أكد لك على نقطة هذه المقالة أريدها باكر مكتوبة كاملة حتى لا أنسى حتى أعطيك تقييم عليها وراح يكون التقييم مالتي ترى قبحي شوية لأن ذني خليت الأربعة راح أقول لك وللأمانة يعني أنا التقييم اللي أعطيك إياه هو ناقص يعني نص درجة عن التقييم give and take.
I want you to be harsh on me.
لا مو هارش مصطفى يعني لا مو هارش يعني أنا مثلا يجوز أعطيك 5.5 هو لو 5 لو 6 يعني هذا الرينج مالتهم لأنه أنا مو هو يعني المقيم
صح.
بس إذا أمشي لك على هذا الشيت اللي قدامي دا أسويها تشيك هاي هنا يعني واضحة من الأساي. يعني أنا بالبداية كنت يعني متصور أنه يعني خليني أشوفك شغلة.
يلا.
أنت بدك تسمع صوتي مو؟
إيه.
يعني اللي دا يوصلك بس الصوت. بس ما تتخيل أنا شنو يمي حاليا.
مقلوب قلب. على سكايب؟
أي راح أنزل لك صورة على سكايب حتى تاخذ فكرة أنه يعني what you hear what you hear is one piece of the puzzle. يعني one piece of the puzzle. I don't know if it
I saw your studio before you.
Which one?
Your studio.
Oh, my studio? Where did you see it?
You show us pictures.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that. But like I'm talking to you right now and I'm recording this meeting because I want to create a lesson out of it. So editing is the final احنا editing يسمونه post production process. لأن هذا بعد
تعال شوف شو نصور. تعال حتى نتعلم. هاي لازم ندخلنا دورة ثانية.
الله.
باعي شوف خالك مين هاي وهاي ما ريكوردينج باعي كاميرا.
هاي من نجيبها؟
والله لازم نشتري
هذا كله US.
شنو؟
كله US. انطوني تندر جماعة التوعية حتى اجيب لكم هاي المعلومات.
لا والله قول لي شلون.
شعبالكم يعني هو المونتاج يعني تخلي السيلفي مالت التليفون تقعد.
اسكت اخليه.
اسكت تحطمت اعصابي.
Mustafa, I really think you should watch the last video because it's a process. I was showing my friends the first video I created, which was with a phone selfie in the beginning. And you know, I'm a teacher and I thought that sometimes I like this is a good opportunity between me and you to يعني حقيقة بيها أجر مو بس أكو ناس مثلا ما يقدر ياخذ كورس مال ايلتس فأنا حقيقة مسويها يعني من هذا الشأن وهو متن جهد يحسب إنه أنت أنا مثلا هذا ليش بس أنا وياك والناس ما تعرف إنه أكو فد مادة يقدر يستفيد منها الناس.
صح.
فثانيا بالبداية كنت أصور بالتليفون بعدين التليفون يعني قام ما يلبي الغرض.
صح.
انت عندك فد سكيل معينه هسه انت حتى بالعياده مالتك عندك فد سكيل معينه بس هذه سكيل يعرفها 10 أشخاص. إذا أنت لا سمح الله صار عليك شيء، دول الأشخاص راح ينسون، راح ينتهي الموضوع. بعد 10 سنوات ما حد راح يعرفك.
صح.
فيحتاج توثق الجهد
مم.
مالك، بس توثقه بطريقة بيها نوع من الحرفية والسرية، بحيث الناس من يجي يريد يسوي شيء ما راح يقدر يسوي نفس الطريقة اللي عندك.
صح.
هو هذا اللي يخلي عندك هاي distinctiveness،
صح.
إنه you're master in your own style. احنا من كنا بالعيادة يمك، يعني حقيقة أنت أول شخص يسوي حشوتين ما جذر يمكن واحد.
صدق صار عندها ألم؟
لا ما صار عندها ألم، بس هاي مو أي دكتور يسويها.
والله مبخت.
لا مو أي دكتور يسويها، لأنه أنت عندك you're very professional in this. You have your own mindset, you have your own skills when you do that. But if you document that, if you tell people about it, this is going to be something that is of a credit to you. So the point that this is where all of this effort just came from. Like, you need to document what you work, because eventually COVID or something else will happen and maybe you'll stop at some point in life.
Yes.
The next generation is going to build on what you know. And this is probably, you saw me online and we're talking now, but if I did not document my work, you wouldn't have been seen me, you wouldn't have talked to me before.
Yes, that's
so that's the point that I want to say. Like, you need to always document your effort and your work, no matter how little it is.
Yes, that's right.
Anyways, on this point, خلي أرجع على النقطة الأساسية. هسه احنا قلنا أنه you need to write an article to me so I can check it, and I expect to see it tomorrow if you don't have any obligations.
No, I will finish it.
نرجع الموضوع صبا.
Sorry.
نرجع الموضوع صبا.
تعال. حيقول حيحكي علي، تقول متى عرفت الفصح بالجسم؟
ليش؟
هو قال لي على وجهي.
لا بيغوي، المفروض يكون سبورت. ليش يحكي علي؟
انت ليش دائما يعني
دائما نيجاتيف امبريشن ماخذه منك.
لا هي تغار، لانه احنا بدينا وتقدمنا بالموضوع وهي ترددت بالبدايه. كان المفروض هي تبدي بالايلتس.
اي
مو صح؟
قالت لي حرامات.
اكرهكم.
Okay. مصطفى, I think we're done with the article so far. بس يعني اتمنى انه ما اثقلت عليك بالفيدباك.
لا بالعكس حلو. يعني هو الواحد يعني قلت لي هو الحلو انه بس تعرف الفريم ورك وعلى اساسه واحد I will build my essay.
هو الفكره وين انه حقيقه هساني اكو نوعيتين من الفيدباك احنا كتدريسيين نعطيها للمتدرب للامانه. يعني بس حتى اكون نقطه هنا. الفيدباك الاولى يسمونها delayed or asynchronous. مو synchronous.
asynchronous. yes.
اعتقد عندكم هاي يمكن اللي هي delayed. وفي الثانيه synchronous. الفاليديتي مالت السynchronous كلش عاليه، لانه الشخص راح يكون على كونتاكت مباشر ويا التريتمنت. يعني هو لايف تريتمنت، انه اوكي انا دا اشوفك دا تسوي يعني رايتنج. انا هساني الخلل اللي عندك انه عندك struggle بالانترودكشن، تقدر تكتب بس ممكن تحت الضغط ممكن psychological factors اكو هواية عامل هي تسبب لك هذا. ما احنا عندنا 40 دقيقة، هذه 40 دقيقة تقدر تبني structure بالبداية كل solid، وعلى هذا structure تقدر تمشي الباراجرافز البقية. بس أنا متأكد أنه هذه السبب هو أني، أنه أني يعني دا قاطع سلسلة أفكارك، ممكن يحتاج لك تفكر شوية لأنه الدرس سريع. فهذه كلها عوامل ممكن يعني تسبب لك أنه أوكي أنا مدى أركز. فأنا متأكد إذا تركتك وحدك هسه أنت راح تأدي دور أفضل، يعني راح تكتبها بطريقة أفضل.
وحدي أقدر أنا أفكر بالموضوع.
بس أنا قلت لك يعني دائما لا تبدي تكتب مباشرة، خلي
أوكي.
فريم ورك حتى
أوكي.
دماغك على الأقل يوزع
صح.
يعني الشغل هنا شيء، هنا راح أكتب شيء، هنا حتى يصير logical sequence.
صح صح.
إيه.
مم.
وحاول قلت لك ليش انطيتك مثال المخرج.
صح.
من نهاية فقرة اربطها ويا الفقرة اللي بعد حتى يصير logical sequence. logical sequence بالموضوع.
إن شاء الله.
And that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Confirm to me tomorrow morning
Yes.
once you finish the essay, so I can give you the grading to it, and I'll send you a link to a listening test if you have time this week to finish it. I would be more than happy.
Okay. I'll finish it tomorrow or on Sunday because there is no.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Perfect.
Okay.
You're more than welcome. Well, wish you a happy year and happy night. Enjoy your time with your family, and inshallah, I'll talk to you soon.
Say hi to your family. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.